So thank you everyone for joining us. Just give us 1 minute and we will get started, just letting everyone dial in. If you're just joining us, please feel free to put where you're from in the chat, or if you do have any questions up front, please feel free to just put them in the chat as well. Obviously, everyone's microphones will be on mute for the duration of this webinar, but we look forward to answering any of your questions at the end, either via email or directly. Just a few more seconds and then we'll get going. Yeah. You're ready, Moo? You're okay on your side?
Yes.
Excellent. Nice to see you again, by the way.
Nice to see everyone.
Good. All right. So, hello, everyone. And obviously, thank you for joining us. My name is Mark Treadway. I head up the marketing for Enuit, and I'm joined by my colleague Mu Fang, Director of Pre-Sales and Services. We're honored to have participants from, it looks like, all over the world today. And over the next 30-40 minutes, we'll unveil how Entrade E7 and the Enuit platform are setting a new standard for ETRM and CTRM. So this webinar is interactive, so please type any of your questions into the chat at the right-hand side. We'll, the agenda is quite tight, so we'll try to follow up with the questions at the end. If not, we'll certainly email you with any of the answers after the session. In today's agenda, we will just go quickly over what ETRM, CTRM solutions are, cover Enuit at a glance, what is the current industry landscape and user evolution in our view, the role of AI in ETRM, and finally, we will introduce you to Entrade E7, where Mu will take over. So before we get into Enuit's story, I think it's important to quickly define what ETRM or CTRM solutions are. These platforms are essentially the digital backbone of modern commodity businesses. A true ETRM or CTRM solution supports the entire value chain. So if we look at the front office, it enables deal capture, trading, price analysis, and real-time market access, essentially ensuring that every opportunity is actioned quickly and accurately. Then we move to the middle office, where it delivers risk management, compliance, credit, and analytics. And it helps companies like yours to identify your exposures, optimize your hedging, and maintain control in these volatile markets. And then we move on to the back office, where the ETRM system drives settlement. It helps with invoicing, tax, accounting, and reporting, and then automates critical processes and ensures accuracy for every transaction. Of course, modern ETRM systems also manage logistics, shipping, and scheduling, seamlessly integrating the physical and financial operations. So for many companies, moving from, spreadsheets to purpose-built solutions like Entrade, it means eliminating a lot of the manual work, reducing your operational risks, gaining real-time visibility, and being able to manage growth and compliance with confidence. The unique value of Entrade is its ability to support every commodity vertical from a single unified platform. So whether it's oil or gas, power, metals, agriculture, or renewables, businesses can diversify without buying add-on systems or maintaining complex silos. So with this, you gain kind of an enterprise-wide visibility, a single version of the truth, so to speak, and obviously the flexibility to grow with a lower cost and less risk. So Entrade becomes a strategic platform, not just kind of little patchwork solutions. With Entrade, all of the commodities are managed together. This enables consistent processes and reporting, real-time risk visibility across the entire portfolio, simpler compliance, and lower total cost of ownership. And obviously, this makes Entrade not just a tool for you today, but a strategic foundation for whatever your business might become tomorrow or next year. Another core strength of Entrade is how openly it integrates with your existing systems. So with robust open APIs, any company can easily extract data, connect to ERPs, accounting systems, market data feeds, or analytics solutions without any friction. And this flexibility means that you're never locked in. You can build a digital ecosystem exactly the way you want it. The result, of course, is seamless data flows, easier compliance, reporting, and a more agile, responsive organization. So however your business evolves, you have the ability to connect. A little bit about us. We're proud to support more than 50 clients worldwide now through a team of over 150 trading experts in 7 locations. And although obviously we think we're great, it's especially meaningful that independent vendor neutral analysts also recognize our leadership. And as you can see on the right hand side, Enuit has won major industry awards every year for the past 6 years, including winning Chartis Research's integrated ETRM solution in their prestigious Energy 50 award for the last 4 years in a row. These accolades, I guess, reflect our unwavering commitment to our clients, to innovation, customer successes that we've had, and obviously technical excellence. So quickly looking at the industry landscape and user evolution that we've seen over the last 10 something odd years, energy and commodity trading industries are undergoing profound transformation. We see 3 main forces shaping the future: digital transformation, accelerating automation and analytics, a rapidly changing regulatory requirements that are reshaping compliance, and obviously the rise of AI is pushing new frontiers in operations and decision making. But I guess today's market goes beyond these technology shifts. It's more about the people. And traditionally, we've seen CTRM solutions were chosen by C-level executives or senior decision makers looking for robust company-wide solutions. However, over the last few years, the discovery and evaluation phase has kind of shifted to younger, more tech-savvy generation. What we've seen is C-levels now often rely on these tech-forward teams to research options, test usability, and kind of shortlist the solutions before making a final selection. So this new generation obviously expects modern software experiences, intuitive interfaces, mobile-friendly workflows, and integration at their fingertips. They kind of just want systems that work, much like the consumer apps that they've grown up with, not clunky tools from the past. So as a result, ETRM needs to be agile and immediately engaging, catering to both deep business needs and the high expectations of these new users. Entrade obviously delivers in this by offering a truly modern experience, or at least that is what we see the future is, and is what we're trying to deliver. So a future-ready and eccentric user experience. Obviously, AI is one of the most powerful forces transforming the energy and commodity trading space right now, and this AI illusion, I think, is real. Many vendors claim surface level AI. But we believe that true value remains elusive. At Enuit, we firmly believe in dual power of AI. So first, AI already enhances trading and risk management by providing real-time insights, rapid market analytics, and predictive models that support faster and smarter decision-making. But we feel that the greatest breakthroughs are coming in the operational parts of the business. AI can optimize logistics, automatically matching shipments, recommending scheduling adjustments, minimizing delays, and increasing overall supply chain efficiency. And so in Entrade, we're working to ensure that our AI engines are deeply embedded and transparent, not just black boxes, but practical tools that users can trust. And this, of course, means improved decision quality, stronger compliance, maximum operational agility. AI in Entrade will help companies to move from being reactive to predictive operations, reduce manual intervention, and hopefully unlock new value from day-to-day workflows. So I think lastly, before I hand over to Mu, with Entrade 7, we're setting a new benchmark for the industry. We're combining the strengths of our entire Entrade platform, which is tried and tested over many years, and we're combining those strengths with a refreshed user-first experience. Entrade 7 isn't just about new features, it's about benefits that matter day to day. So users will gain a faster, clearer access to the tools they need with fewer clicks and screens, automation and intuitive design free up the teams to focus on strategic growth, not just manual workflows. And of course, Entrade's strength remains a unified modular platform that is supporting all commodity types, full real-time analytics, robust compliance, integrated logistics, and obviously open AIs for seamless ecosystem integration. But with Entrade 7, our focus is more on usability, unlocking the best of the power in a seamless modern experience. The dashboard will now give you access to all of your business operations in one view. Every step is consolidated, workflows are guided and validated at every stage, and processes are intelligently prompted. E7 is designed for real-world transitions in mind, leveraging the same database as E6 for swift upgrades, so no re-implementations, no data migration headaches. This will ensure rapid adoption and I guess zero or at least minimal disruption for current users while unlocking all of the benefits of the next generation ETRM experience. Entrade 7's foundation is deep integration, so upgrades are seamless. And all of the users will benefit from a structured, clean data right from the start. Our vision is simple, I guess, making enterprise scale trading available and accessible to every user, from your execs to any of your new joiners, whether their focus is high-level strategy or just daily operations. And I'd like to steal something from our CEO, David Rao. He said the vision for Entrade 7 is to make the full scope of commodity trading and risk management powerful, yet easy for real people so that every role from front office to operations can work together smarter and faster. And I guess with that, I'm delighted to hand over to Yumu, our Director of Pre-Sales and Services, who will take you on a live tour of Entrade's powerful new interface. Thank you for your time and engagement. And remember, keep those questions coming in the chat, and we'll be in touch with any answers after the session. So Mu, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session for the Entrade 7 webinar. And I hope everyone can see my screen. So let me just skip this one down a little bit down here. Okay, great. So this, I'm just going to jump straight into the E7 flow. So you can see here, when I open up E7, I think one of the key things Mark emphasized is on the usability and how easy it is to use our new version of Entrade. So when it comes to our landing page, essentially we can see here, we have what we call separate modules or separate applications. Think of it more like an app, where each set has its own contained set of screens and functionalities within Entrade. Okay, so essentially, if you versus some of the older systems, older version of Entrade, before there's always things like user workbench, user groups, which typically is you assign a set of screens and functionality to that group, and the user can access it. Now, everything is done out of the box. So essentially, we have different functions where we can click and launch each individual applications, and from which then you can carry on your daily task. So you can see here, I have a few applications open, so I'm just going to go through some of them and show you how the new UI is affecting the usability, how we can streamline that part element of the system. But also at certain points, I'm going to talk about how Enuit, how we are utilizing some of the new AI features to again make it so that it's much, much easier and intuitive for the user to use the system. Okay. So first one, let's have a look at it, is we have the front office screen. So this is your dashboard. You can see we have, additional stuff. We can customize the screen to add new tabs in and out. As Mark said, one of the key things with Entrade 7 is from the dashboard that we come in, we want the user to be able to access and open up screens from this dashboard directly. So for example, you can see we have trades that's waiting for approval. We can look at some of our intraday position reports based on how you set up the layouts. But if I want to click on something to say, hey, look, let me see what is in my approval queue, all I need to do is open up here, click on it, from which then I can access individual trades to say, hey, look, what is happening here? Let me see what needs to be done before I set for approval. Okay. So again, it's really to emphasize the ease of accessing the data at your fingertips. Now, for me, for the purpose of the demo, I have also opened up a set of screens. So this is our trade plotter. Again, for those of you that are familiar with ETRM CTRM system, this is quite typical you will see. But within here, I have some trades I've captured. So obviously I can click on any trades that would then open up and show me the details associated with that particular trade, whether it's the pricing, the market curves, portfolios, strategies, etc., etc. Okay. Now, one thing to note, this is a very powerful and new features. I think it's something that people often, forget about. But when it comes to deal entry, how we capture deals, Entrade 7 now is so much easier to do these kind of things. So typically, if you think about it in a system, you have deal plotters, deal capture screens, and what they would do is they would have different sets of screens or different plotters, typically for different kinds of deals or different kinds of products, whether that is to do, say, hey, look, I have a separate screen for power, separate screen for gas, separate screen for bulk, or even for some of the paper and financial deals. Okay. And the reason why they're designed in those ways is because each different commodity would have its own set of information that I need to capture in order to evaluate that particular trade or particular contract. Now with E7, we just have one essential screen that you use. So we have something called new trades. Now, when you click on this, you can see that we can search for different products. Okay. These are configured in the system. And what is really cool about this is based on what you select, what product you select, the system will dynamically adjust itself to populate the necessary fields. Okay, that's one of the key benefits of doing it this way. So I can select a crude here and it knows that, hey, look, I need to add specifications. If I selected, let's say, power, for example, it will know that you may or may not want to add in, shape power deals. Or if it's, let's say, a paper deal or futures deal, for example, then it would have its own standard set of information. So this is very useful to have in the system, right? It would just make deal entry and deal capturing so much easier rather than going through the different screens like you would typically in the ETRM or CTRM system. Now you notice that here, we also have built-in now workflows and validations. So for example, once a trade is done, you can submit to the system and from which you can then approve or reject directly. Okay. At the same time, you can see now we're also attaching additional functions, additional checks to this process as well. So you can save a deal, you can then run a credit check. Obviously, in this case, with the credit limits and setup, my particular trade failed it. But here again, to give you indication at the very start to say, hey, look, if I enter this deal, what would be the potential impact downstream for various teams? Okay. Now, similar to E6, we still have the deal modeling. So whenever you save a trade, you can then click on the P&L button. This would then take you to what we call our deal modeling. So you can see we have different options, whether it's for valuations, show how the settlement is done, or any present values, future values based calculation. It's all in here. And this is important because similar, I think conceptually for Entrade is we want to use whatever is the most accurate data in the system. And this is where we are taking that data. So every single time you save a deal, create a contract, or make any amendments to the contract, our deal modeling gets updated immediately, from which then all of our reporting is going to be based upon. So what that means is you will have live intraday reporting. So whenever changes are done, it's going to be reflected immediately into the system. Okay. Now, again, you can see very similar to other reports or other systems. We do have a list of reports. You can say we have P&L. So we can say clearly identify this is going to be your intraday reporting. We have our end of day reports, which are snapshot based. So you can compare snapshots from different days to look at your end of day P&L and attributions. And it's very easy to simply click on something like this, which will then take you to a particular report. And obviously, this particular layout that we have, we only have certain fields shown here. But again, we can have additional fields in our report to show. And all of these setup, the users can amend and make adjustment to the layout and save it for themselves. Okay. Now here, at this point with deal capturing, this is where our first AI functionality is going to come into play. So for us, as we said, right now we are focusing on really drive home the usability. We want to enhance the user experience to capture the newer generations to be more in line with what they used to. And one way of doing this for us is revolve around deal capturing and AI. So we have functions, AI-based, which will read and extract information from documents. So what that means is instead of, let's say, manually entering a deal or, typically get the deal fed in from Exchange, we can extract deal information and create a deal in E7 from, let's say, a PDF contract document. So we have those functionality in place. One of the cool things is if you think about it, data extraction doesn't necessarily means it can be only used for contract creation. Okay. We have recently, for one of our customers, what they decided to use this AI function is not to do a contract creation, but they actually want to use it for their scheduling and operation side of things. So what that means is the document comes, they can extract out all of the scheduling data from it and update the system that way. So you can see by having that first element from front office side and from deal capturing, really we're looking for ways to enhance and make it easier for users. Okay. I'm going to quickly run into our scheduling, which is, again, one of the big areas that we have. So similarly, you can see that we have our dashboard when I open the scheduling module or scheduling app. And again, I can access all of the different informations here. Okay, so you can see I can click on something. This will give me the necessary shipments information related to it. Now, one thing to note, something's very cool. We have AI assistant here. So the idea with this is to help users select trays or parcels to be matched together. And I'll show how we can manually kick it off. But this one is something that we felt is very useful to have AI here. So I can say something like, okay, let's say, show me potential matches in March 2025. So I can click on this, and hopefully what we'll see is the system should give me a list of matches that it thinks can be matched together. Oh, sorry, parcels which it thinks can be matched together. Now, from here, you can then say, hey, look, I can directly schedule an appointment or shipment, which will take me to our matching process, which I'll cover in a bit. But if you think about it, this is just a starting point for us, how we can utilize AI for matching. As Mark rightly said, essentially, if the system can already determine what it thinks could be matched together, then essentially we should be able to then go one step further and ask for auto matching. So the idea is when we have something like this in the future, we can say schedule that shipment and the system will automatically schedule that for you. Okay. Currently, what this will happen is if I click on this, this will take to our matching process, which I will cover. In fact, I'll do this right now. Okay. So in order for us to make a shipment match, you can see we have different options. So I'm just going to be very simple for the demo. I'm just going to create a new back-to-back match. And again, this is another improvement from versus the previous version that we have. So right now, when it comes to the matchings, we're really spelling out for the user in a sense that we're going to give you directions of, you can see here the process, what the current step is, what will be next step. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see here, what I can do is what kind of shipment. So let's say if I just do an FOB to DES, all I want to do is click on next. So now, based on that particular shipment, FOB DES back to back, the system will now dynamically adjust to say, okay, these now are the steps you would need to complete that match. So I can go down here. Obviously, we have our filters on top. So let's say if I want to do a match in April. So you can see down here, this is one of the deals that I've created. So for example, if I want to go this, I can just click on this particular deal. So that's my purchase side. And click on next. Now I say, okay, which one do I want to match it on my sales side? Again, very simple. You just say, well, this is the deal to match it to. And lastly, it's going to ask me for a carrier ID. So I'm just going to select this particular one. And now you will see before the match is created, it's going to show you the confirmation. Say, hey, look, these are the particular parcels you selected together. This is going to be the journey. Are you okay? Happy with this? If you are, you can then save this particular match. Okay. Now, once the match is saved, it's go create what we call a shipment. So you can see here underneath the shipment, we have all of the necessary fields, again, which we can then expand and update. So now you can see we have different event dates, we have different status for events. All of these can be actualized and changed. And similarly, we have our vessel information. We have information regarding the purchase parcel, the sales parcel, etc., etc. And you can see here, again, from our new functionalities, we now have a status to actively track what the state of that shipment is. So if the shipments become inactive, you can simply switch this back to inactive. Okay. Or if you want to say, hey, look, I want to delete the shipment, I can simply click on delete, and that will then remove that particular shipment. And at the end of the day, again, going back to here, because we allow full access to from the dashboard to all of the screens, you can see here, if I want to see what are all my active shipments, I can simply go and click on here, and the system going to tell you, hey, look, this is what's coming up for the time period. These are all your active shipments underneath each one. Okay. Now, another functionality that we've implemented with AI, you can see here, I have a chatbot here. Now, the idea with here is this is replacing essentially our help guide. So it's there to give user information. So you can see here, I can type different messages to say, hey, look, I want to perform a back-to-back match in E7. How do I do that? And the system is going to tell you, hey, look, you need to access different screens or different steps, and it's going to go through this. But what's more useful as well, it's not just related to our software. So it's not just related to Entrade 7, what question you can ask. You can see here, I want to say, hey, look, give me some generic specifications, I don't know, for ICE Brent contract. You can see here, the system is then going to tell you, hey, look, this is what is found online. These are the necessary information that you have. So essentially, you can ask the system outside of the confinement of Entrade. So it's designed to give you information about how to use Entrade, but at the same time, it is designed to allow you access to much broader set of information out there. Okay, so the idea is you can have one chatbot within Entrade that you can launch in Entrade and use it like, say, your chat GPT. Okay. So that's a very quick view of, let's say, our logistic module. You can see how easy it is to use. And just to round off, I'm going to talk about our settlement side of things. So you can think about it, it's a complete flow. We have contract capturing for this particular session. We can say, hey, look, there's going to be the logistics side. How would I manage my shipments and match my parcels? And obviously at the very end is how do I settle my invoices? And again, we have our dashboard here. So again, you can see, hey, look, it's giving me a set of information. It's saying I have a set of statements that's overdue or should be created, whether it's in this month, next month, so on and so forth. So for me, I can click on, let's say, overdue one. So that's going to take me to say, hey, look, these are the set of cash flows that are overdue, and you should create an invoice for this one and send it out. Okay. Now, what's really cool here is even though I kind of showed it previously, they are individual, what we call applications, they are all connected. So when I capture a trade or something like this, okay, that means obviously, even though I launch my scheduling module, scheduling app, that information is flown across. Based on my scheduling actions and the different event dates, which I can define to say, hey, look, these trades or these shipments are delivered, the prices is settled, the system is going to know, okay, under those circumstances, those particular cash flows are now being flown into our, let's say, pending statements now. Okay, so based on what I've done previously in my logistics side of things, the system is now going to say, hey, look, based on the logistics action, you should start invoicing these invoices. And again, very simple. You don't really need to manage any of this. This is an automatic flow. So now when I say, hey, look, if I want to generate an invoice for this particular cash flow, you can say here, I can just go to create voucher, select the one we have. Oops. Did I select the wrong one? Let's try another one. So you can see here, right? That was an invoice I was supposed to create. Now it's saying create the invoice, which I've used this particular button. And you notice that based on receive and payment, it's going to give you different options, whether it's a voucher or an invoice. So now I have created, asked the system to create me a new statement, a new invoice. It is telling me before I save and confirm this creation of invoice, it's going to tell me here, this is the cash flow that's coming from this particular deal for this amount. And it's going to give you additional information exactly where this amount is coming from. Okay. From here, we then have additional informations. We can change the currencies, the due dates, and we can even create a reference number or an invoice number. After this is done, we simply say, let's go save this particular statement or this particular invoice. And now you can see I have a statement created in my system. So from here then onwards, we have options to generate documentation, so the actual invoice themselves, or we can then send this information downstream, let's say to any ERP systems which we're integrating with. Okay. Obviously, you can see here we have other modules. We have accounting, which is specific tailored for month-end processes. We have specific API gateways, which will show you all the documentations and all the available APIs the system would use. We even have a system admin screen, which is going to give you for the admin team, the IT team, it's going to give you performance metrics on the server of what the system is actually using. Okay, so you can see that the way that the concept of E7 is really to make sure that it's easily accessible, all the functionalities are available for a specific group of user, then they only need to stay in their own specific app from which they can carry out all of their necessary daily activities. And we are ensuring all of those data is flown across between the different apps as a specific designated flow. At the same time, we're using AIs right now, functionalities where we can, for what we see, introduce benefits right now from a user perspective to make things easier for the users. As Mark stated, the other elements with AI is for analytics side of things, and those are the things that we are still working on that is coming in the system in the future as well. Okay. Now, for me, I think for the purpose of this demo, I will stop here. Please feel free to ask any questions. Please type them in the chat, and then we'll get back to you. I think for now, Mark, I'm finished. Let's quickly hand back for you.
Yeah, excellent. Every time I see the system, I am once again reminded of how powerful it is and how intuitive it is. I've only seen it now maybe 6 or 7 times, but every time I see it, I kind of get a glint in my eye. So thank you once again for this. And thank you everyone once again for joining us. I think we've unfortunately come to the end of the time very quickly. So as Mu said, please feel free to type any questions you have in the chat box. We will endeavor to get back to you via email. And if you do have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Mu directly. I'll leave our contacts at the end of the slide. So once again, thank you very much for joining us and have a good rest of the week. Thank you, Mu.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.